Om Sadash Om Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham karishyami siddhirbhavatu me sada yena akshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha vakyakaram vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Samprikto Vagarthav Pratipattaye Jagatav Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om A I Un Rilik E Ong I Ouch Haya Varat Lan Nyamangananam Jabhanya Ghadadash Jabagadadash Kapha Chatata Chatatav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani Om Tip Tas Ji Sip Tas Tha Mip Vas Mas Ta Atham Jha Thas Atham Dhvam It Vahi Mahinga. I think that's becoming a little bit more familiar now. Yeah, just a little bit. Om Su Au Jas Ord Shas Ta Bhyam Bhis Ne Bhyam Bhyas Ngasi Bhyam Bhyas Ngas Os Am Ni Os Sup. Okay. We started praying and Sadashiva Samadhi started. Habitual error, huh? That's okay if we pray, say Sadashiva also. Yeah. So just for the warm-up, I had this up on the screen. I said, please, so this is the next sentence in Tattva-bodha. We were seeing in our last class, the question was, Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka. Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka. What is the sixfold wealth starting with Shama? So that's the question. And then the whole list was given. Shamaha, Damaha, Uparamaha, etc. Right? So we'll go through each one now. Now we'll just go through these first two for today. Shamaha Kaha. Okay, so we can guess what cases are Shamaha and Kaha. Yeah, first case, right? First case. These are both our first case. So this is, I like Tattva-bodha because there's so simple sentences, right? So first case. Okay, so what is, so Kaha, we can say Kaha, which is Kim Shabda, right? This is a Sarvanama, Punlinga, Pratama Vibhakti, Ekavachanam. It's masculine because Shamaha is masculine. Yeah. It's interesting. We name a lot of ladies Shama, but I guess it's a masculine word. Right? Have you heard that name? Some people have that name, but I guess it's a masculine word. Even though men never have this quality, but so Shamaha, what is Shamaha? So Manas Nigrahaha. You see, then the sandhi takes place, it becomes Mano Nigrahaha. Okay, but if you were to break it, Manas Nigrahaha. We can guess the case for this as well, because we're just answering the question. It is our first case. Yeah, this is what's nice about Tattva. Yeah, Manas Nigraha. So Nigraha means, traditionally means, means control oftentimes. But Buddha Swamiji didn't like saying control of the mind, because you can't really control the mind. You can manage the mind, right? Or you can work with the mind. So nigraha, we can say management of the mind. We can say mastery of the mind, however we want to translate. And then you can repeat after me. Damah kaha chakshuradi bahyendriya nigraha. Okay, so you repeat after me, the whole thing. Chakshuradi bahyendriya nigraha. Chakshuradi bahyendriya nigraha. Yeah, so you can see this is one giant compound word. Yeah, I don't even need to ask you for the cases because they're pretty straightforward. Damaha, kaha, what is damaha? First case singular for both of these words. This is also first case singular, right? What is damaha? We saw same word here, right? Nigraha. So mastery, right? Mastery of what? Bahyendriya. So first of all, this whole word is the last word is pradhana, right? The last word is the main thing. If the last word is the main thing, if we're talking about nigraha, mastery, it's called a tatpurusha samasa, type T, right? Tatpurusha. Where the pradhana, the predominant word is this last word, right? So mastery. Mastery of what? Bahya indriya. The bahya, external indriya organs. So mastery of the external organs, such as chakshuhu, the eye, adi, etc. So mastery over the external organs, such as the eye, etc. By etc., we take ears, right? Touch, etc. Okay. So shamakaha mano nigrahaha, damaha kaha chakshuradi bahyendriya nigrahaha. Okay. I'm moving fast because I want to get to Sādhanabodhini. So I'm going to switch gears here, and then I'll get more of your participation. Okay, we can chant our prayer. You can chant along with me. Yeah, we'll try it. Okay. Namaskritya gurum bhaktya brahmatmanandarupinam. Let's chant that whole line together again. Namaskritya gurum bhaktya brahmatmanandarupinam sadhanasyopadeshtaram kurve sadhanabodhinim. One more time. Sadhanasyopadeshtaram kurve sadhanabodhinim. Yeah, Nilimaji, you have a question. So I was going a little fast. So let me know what's your question. I can also go.
My question was regarding the chakshus, the last one you were talking. You were teaching about, Rana. Yeah, that's it. So when I looked at the word chakshu, Mukul, tell me one. Chakshuradi Bahyendriya. So chakshu, I was trying to think that the word, the sandhi, instead of being chakshus, I would go with chakshuhu. So obviously I'm wrong. Chakshuhu adi bahyendriya, and that becomes a samasa or word. But so the chakshu becomes like a guru brahma samadhi, right? Chakshuradi.
Yeah, chakshuradi. Yeah, exactly. Like Guru Brahma.
Guru Brahma. Yeah. But then it says chakshus down there. That's what my question was.
That's a good question. So yeah, I'll have to think about that.
Okay.
The Pratipadika itself is chakshus.
I see.
So the Pratipadika is sakaranta, so it means, so it's I, like tejas or chakshus. So it ends in sakaranta, Pullinga Shabda. Why we don't see chakshuhu? I think because, so she just broke the sandhi of each word. So if you break the sandhi, just the Pratipadika, chakshus. But I'll answer this a little bit better. I'll look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a good question. So I'm going to put a question mark so I remember. Okay, so this was our prayer, and we saw this meaning. After saluting the Guru, right? Namaskritya Gurum Bhaktya. So after saluting the Guru, who is of the nature of Brahman, right? Brahmatmananda Rupinam. So which is identical to the self, which is Ananda. And then Sadhanasyopadeshtaram, who reveals the means. Kurve Sādhanabodhini. I compose Sādhanabodhini, revealer of the means. Okay, let's go towards our first verse. Shloka number 2, but prayer, and then this is the first teaching, but we can say the second verse for ease. You can repeat after me. Mula pramanam vedhosti dvidha tasya vibhajanam pratamah karma kandascha Vedantascha parasmritaha. Okay, so we have the meaning here, and that's okay, but we're going to take it one part at a time. And I put it in Anvaya order. So I made it in an easier order so that we can break down these sentences. So the first part, right, we see Mula Pramanam Vedo. So Mula Pramanam Vedaha Asti. So if I put it in order, I put Vedaha Mula Pramanam Asti. Okay. So can I start with you, Nilimaji? Okay. So what is our verb here?
Asti.
Asti. Okay. What is the dhatu for asti?
As dhatu. I think it's 2p from what I recall.
Exactly. 2p to be.
To be.
And then what's lakara?
Lat lakara, kartari prayoga. And that's it.
Pratama Purusha,
Prathama Purusha Ekavachana.
Ekavachana. Yeah. So is, something is. Now we look for our first case. Our first case being, can be either one.
Vedaha.
Vedaha. Yeah, let's go with Vedaha. And then Vedaha, the Pratipadika.
Veda or with, to know.
Yeah, so originally, yeah, we can say the Dhatu, but we just need the Pratipadika.
Okay, Veda.
Veda, so it's
Veda Dhatu Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam.
so Veda Pratipadika, so it's ending.
Ending.
Gender.
I would go with Napumsaka or Pullinga, one of the two.
Yeah, so you see this aha, like Ramaha, so then we would get
Pullinga.
Pullinga, yeah. Pullinga. And then you said?
Pullinga, Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachanam, Kartari Prathama to Asti.
To Asti, yeah. So the Veda is, what is the Veda? Mula Pramanam, right? Veda is the Mula Pramanam. Thank you so much. That was great. So Veda is Mula Pramanam. So Veda is Mula Pramana. Veda is Mula Pramana. So Pramana is the means of knowledge, means of knowing something. Just like my eyes are the Pramana to see the computer, right? It's the means of knowledge. Veda is the means of knowledge, but it's the Mula Pramana. So we translate as fundamental means of knowledge. It's the main means of knowledge, if we can say it like that, the main thing. There's other means of knowledge. We use logic, for example, but that's secondary means of knowledge, right? That logic has to be based on the Veda. So Veda is the primary means of knowledge. When it comes to things which cannot be known by the other means, right? So this, because it's Samana Adhikarana, these are both first case, right? As we've said, this is Mula Pramana, Akaranta, Napumsakalinga, Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachanam. It is the predicate to Veda. It can also be second case, right? But here we have Vedaha, Mula Pramanam, Asti. So Veda is Mula Pramana. So there's Samana Adhikarana. So you can have first case here. Napumsakalinga. Okay. Does anybody want to do the next sentence? Yeah, Pratimaji. Okay, so you have to unmute. Yeah, perfect. So
Tasya is a Shashti Vibhakti. Ekavachan.
So we'll just start with the any verb here.
Asti is
Asti,
hidden. Yeah.
So we have all the information already. Okay. And then yeah, you can start left to right. That's fine.
Yeah. Tasya is a sixth case.
Okay.
Ekavachanam.
What's the Pratipadika?
Sahataute. Sahataute, right? So
yeah, that's correct, but it's tricky. So that's correct, but the Pratipadika.
Asmat, not Asmat.
Tad.
Tad.
Yeah, tad.
Yes.
No, it's okay. You know Sahatote. That's good enough. So, but tad. This is Sarvanama.
That's Sarvanama. Shashti Vibhakti. Ekavachanam.
Do you know what kind of Shashti?
Oh.
It's okay.
No, I don't.
So we call this Sambandhe Shashti. So Shashti in the sense of relationship to the word
Vibhajanam.
Vibhajanam. Yeah, exactly. So the Vibhajanam of that.
Okay.
Vibhajanam of that. So of that. Okay. So vibhajanam, which case do you think would be?
It seems like it's a object, so vibhajanam dvida, but then again it's sambandhe shashti, so I'm confused.
Why would you think it's object? Just like, let's think through this. Object of what?
The only reason is it's because it ends with but that's wrong. I can understand that. Vibhajanam dvida.
So a clue with this is napumsakalinga.
Okay.
Does that help at all?
Yeah. So ekavachanam.
Yeah. So
And
the pratipadika is
vibhajana.
vibhajana. Sorry. Let me. Vibhajana. So akaranta.
Akaranta. Vibhajana napus. I don't know the sequence of saying it.
No, that's okay. So you say akaranta napumsakalinga, then you give the case.
Vibhajana shabdaha prathama ekavachanam.
And then we would give the kartari prathama. You give the type of prathama. So here it would be first case in the sense of karta. Yeah.
Thank you. And dvida is
it is avyaya. So that's what I wrote it already there because that's a tricky word. I had to look it up, so I can show you all how to look it up also at some point. But
where do you actually look it up? Is it in the where?
So you can look it up in any regular dictionary, but I have this online software called Golden Dictionary that I can show you as well at some point. I'll have to make a
Thank
video.
you.
Yeah. So, okay, so we have, so vibhajana means division. So the translation, so how would you translate this first part? Tasya vibhajana.
Of the Vedas, there are two parts to the Vedas.
Mm-hmm.
It is divided in two parts. The Vedas are divided in two parts. Tasya meaning Vedas are divided in Dvidha, two parts.
Yeah, so that is right. So let's start with vibhajanam. Let's just simplify it though. The way you said it was right, but it's just a little bit. So vibhajanam means what word?
Vibhajanam means divided?
Yeah, or just division.
Or
right?
division. Okay.
Division, tasya, of
Vedas.
Of the Veda. So division of the Veda or of that. Dvida asti is twofold. Yeah, exactly. So the division of the Veda is twofold. So that's a literal translation. You can see how Swamiji translated it a little bit cleaner here. He says it is divided into two parts, just like you were saying, Pratimaji. So that's not wrong. It's just the literal translation will be the division of that is twofold. But if we want to say that in normal English, we would say it is divided into two parts.
Yeah.
And then,
but I wonder, is it because of Dvidha is used instead of Dve? Is it because of some like a musical, like the matching of the words or whatever?
No, so he took vibhajanam as divided, as a verb. So it is divided. But it's technically, it's not here, it's a noun, right? So it would be division. So division of that.
No, my question was Dvidha. So Dvidha is two. Instead of Dvidha, we could have used Dve or Dvau, correct?
So Dve or Dvau would just mean two.
Yeah.
If we have Dvidha, it means like twofold, like there's two parts.
Okay.
Yeah, just that extra suffix gives that extra sense to it. That da.
So daha is a suffix that is added to dvi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So twofold or two parts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nilamaji.
So I just think like, what Pratima has said, that Mula Pramanam or Vibhajanam, it feels like it's an object. It's like a Karmani Prathama. And that was one of the points, question I had. And my second question was Vibhajanam, right? Is V an upasarga for Bhajanam, or it's just one word Vibhajanam?
Yeah, so I'll answer the second question first. So technically, a lot of these words come from, you can derive these words from roots itself, from the dhatu. Right? So you get bhaj dhatu, vibhaj, and then you add a suffix where you get that ana to it. Now that's the scope of the next book, book 3, where you learn what does each of those suffix means. And if you learn those few suffixes, then you'll be able to see any, if you know the dhatu and the suffix, then you'll be able to translate any word. Right? So you get a lot out of that. But here, we haven't learned all of that quite yet. So we're just taking it as, this is our pratipadika, vibhaja. Sorry, vibhajana. Yeah, so here it doesn't give much of an extra sense, but we can say visheshena bhajati, like it's visheshana would be it is specially divided as a special division. But the author doesn't give that extra meaning. So I'm just pulling that out generally by how we translate V sometimes when we see it.
Thank you.
I don't know. I confused you more.
No. You
Okay.
explained clearly. That is good.
So this first question about how do we know this is not object, right? Second case. So the question I asked Pratima Ji after she said that, I said, what is it the object of, right? Because if you say object, then I have to ask you of what?
Of the Veda, right? Because it's the main fundamental knowledge of the Vedas. Vedas.
That makes sense. But when we say karmani, dvitiya, and then I always say to, but to what? Wait, let's go to a verb. Right? So if I say karmani dvitiya to what? And then the only verb we have is asti. So asti doesn't take an object.
No.
Right? It's not like you can asti something. So here we can't justify having second case.
Okay,
I hope that makes sense. So here we're really only left with first case, and then they are samanadhikaranam. Veda is the mula pramana.
Yeah, I mean, when you go deeper, then you can see that they both are prathama vibhakti, ekavachanam, but with the first instance, immediately I got it as, karmani prathama. And I was going to say asti, but that's obviously not right there.
Yeah. So the napumsaka linga, we have to remember that some of the words have this gender napumsaka linga. So then we would get like palam or jnanam. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, so we have this last one. Pratamaha karma kandaha paraha vedantaha cha smritaha bhavati. This is a nice, just like Tattvaboda, simple cases. Okay, Kuriji, do you want to, and Premaji, do you want to give it a try? So I'm going to unmute you. Okay, do you see any verb here?
Bhavati and Paraditi.
Yeah, so do we know what the dhatu of bhavati?
Bhu.
Boo, yeah. Boo, 1P, 2B.
Karmani.
Yeah.
I mean,
Patmakara.
3-1, 3-1.
Yep. Kartri.
Kartri.
Prayoga. And then we would say third one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Third person singular. Yeah. Bhavati. Perfect. Okay. So now we'll just start with this word smritaha. So just like, what case do you think that word?
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. So smrita, akaranta, pullinga, prathama vibhakti ekavachanam. So smrita. So something is smrita. So smrita is remembered.
Remember.
So something is remembered.
Oh.
We'll take these first two here. Okay.
They're all 1-1.
They're all 1-1. Perfect. They're all 1-1. So pratamaha means what?
First.
Yeah. Premaji said it right. So first, the first one is karma kanda. Yeah. So the first part is karma kanda.
You're in the.
And then paraha vedantaha. Paraha means if not first, but
Next one. Next. Afterwards.
next. Yeah. Para
Yes.
means later one. So
Later
we can
one.
just say second. So first is karma kanda, second is vedanta. In this manner, it is remembered, right?
So, cha is 0.
Yeah,
Aveya.
cha is aveya.
Aveya.
Perfect. Okay, so we got that whole sentence, so we can read it here. The first is smritaha. The first is known as karma kanda, and the second as vedanta. Perfect. Okay. So we saw this whole Vedaha Mula Pramanam Asti. Veda is the Mula Pramana, the main means of knowledge. Tasya Vibhajanam Dvidha Asti. The division of that is twofold. And Smritaha Bhavati, it's known as the right Pratamaha Karma Kanda. So the first part is called the Karma Kanda. Paraha, the second or the later one, is called Vedantaha. Isn't this nice? A good sentence. Yeah. We're learning useful vocabulary also of the. So let's chant it, and then you can just think of the meaning now as you chant it, now that we know it, okay? You can repeat after me. Mula pramanam vedosti. Okay, you got the meaning? Dvida tasya vibhajanam. Yeah, got it? Okay. Pratama karma kandascha. Vedantascha parasmritaha. So, spashta, right? Spashta, clear. We'll see this in our next class. It'll talk about what is karma kanda, and so it'll explain a little bit more about karma kanda, and then we'll see a little bit more about Vedanta. So in this way, the text will go. We're almost out of time, so I don't want to start this one here. But does anybody have any questions? You can just, yeah, Pratimaji, let me unmute you. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have a simple question. I always had this question because
Yeah.
I see paraha here. I always have a question about parat paraha. Can you explain me that completely, parat paraha?
Yeah. So paraha, so in its short, so akaranta, right here, like it's here. It means that that which is after or second.
Mhm.
right? So para, it's later or second.
Mhm.
When it's akaranta, para, like we say para vidya. Para means something which is the ultimate thing. So they just have based on that if it's akaranta or akaranta, short akaranta, then they have those different meanings to them.
But then how do you get parat para? Is it because of sandhi? Why is it pronounced as parat para?
Parat. So because it's, you see, parat, that's fifth case, right? It's still
Okay.
short akaranta,
Okay.
if that makes sense. So if I've para and I put it in fifth case, it would be parat.
Okay.
Paraha.
So it would be what? Parat paraha. So it's a fifth case would be from, right?
Mhm.
From para to paraha.
Yeah, so I have to see the context for where that comes.
Yeah, in a Brahma, it's like Brahman, that one, I think it is Brahmavali. In that it says parat para. Atmaha is parat para.
Yeah.
I always
So-
had that question.
Yeah, so it's not a strict division. Sometimes you see akaranta used as ultimate too. Like the way that it's used is not strictly divided in that way. But sometimes you see that short akaranta means later, and the akaranta means that which is ultimate. But here in the case that you're talking about, it's saying it's more ultimate than the ultimate.
Okay.
Ultimate from the ultimate.
Yeah, but then there is I guess you cannot define. That's why you have to say that parat para.
Yeah. What you consider ultimate, this is more ultimate.
Beyond that, because you got, okay, now I got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Because
beyond words, beyond whatever. So beyond parat para.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So parat is fifth case and paraha is just
This first case.
okay.
First
Thank
case.
you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So we'll take a few minute break. We'll come back in 2 minutes.